Hello, and welcome back to Turn to Your Doom. It is a choose-your-own-adventure podcast where we choose all sorts of fun paths and adventures and endings. Some of them are terrifying, some of them are nice. We're going to be reading the second half of The Magic of the Unicorn. And with me today is somebody that's pretty sure that they could wrestle a manlet who knows forbidden magic. Art.
Hi, it's me. I write checks I can't cash all the time.
It's such a good way of putting that.
I get through life off of pure tenacity and gumption.
Of some audacity as well. Tenacity, audacity. It all goes together, really. But yeah, we're gonna be reading the other branching path of The Magic of the Unicorn. Again, this was written by Deborah Lerme Goodman. This one was published originally in 1985, and it did get updated in 2017. Though this is like a medieval story, it doesn't really need, like, you don't have to add cell phones to it. In fact, that would make it weirder. Like, does anybody know the unicorn cell phone number? Can we just call them?
I mean, that would make it a lot easier.
Yeah, just call the unicorn. Be like, hey, our water's bad. Can you come take care of this? And they're like, yes, for a small fee. I can fix your plumbing issue.
Yeah, like, I feel like it would be a lot easier.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
go on.
Like, just like a lot of modern day horror movies, it'd go a lot better if people just talk to each other on the cell phone.
Crazy. Insane. If people just communicated with each other, that's the real horror of modern day. Is people not communicating with each other. Also, people not turning on the lights when they go into a room. Why not? Can you see in the dark? Is that it? Anyways.
Oh, so there's a TikTok of a girl who was visiting her friends in Appalachia, and she picked up a random effigy doll. I don't know what you call it exactly. Put it in her car, and everyone's just like, "Put that back! Put that back! Put that back immediately!"
Stop!
And just like my favorite comment is just like, "This is why there's mostly white people in horror movies."
It's true. Maybe she was just a Midwesterner, and she's willing to square up with any sort of folkloric monster.
Like, it's not like just have respect. Have respect for the stuff around you.
Like, I will not fuck around with anything that I do not need to fuck around with. Like, it ain't my business, and I'm not about to make it my business either, for that matter. But if I have to, I will fist fight a deer.
I just don't want to be, like, eaten by a goat man. That's it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No. Which is why I ignore every sound of someone saying "hey" or a baby crying after a certain time.
Oh yeah, I was literally
I'm gonna be a great parent one day.
I was literally telling my mom about this the other day, and we were joking about because worst case scenario, it is some kind of a monster that will tear you limb from limb. Best case scenario, it's a baby, and now you're stuck with a baby in the woods. Like, what are you gonna do?
I won't even do it if it's within my own house, and I know there's a baby.
No, thank you. Like, I will ignore the sound of my friend's voice saying my name in the deep, dark woods when I know we did not go on this camping trip together. But also, if I have to sucker punch a goat man, I will. Will I win? Absolutely not. No. I'm too short. I can't win. I don't have the reach.
You're also like 5'3", so I mean you have to.
Yeah,
you have to punch them.
I'm 5'4". I could suplex them. I do have a very low center of gravity.
Well, you're also like that's the only thing you got from your Viking heritage. You can suplex things. Everything else is gone.
I have great leg and core strength, a low center of gravity, and nothing else going for me. I sunburn easily. I'm probably gonna go blind early in life. You know, all that other stuff. But goddamn, if I can't lift a grown man off the ground with just my legs. That's why I relate to the protagonist of the story so much. She's like, that dude's short, I could lift him. What does he weigh? Like, maybe 190? Nothing. That's nothing. Alright, shall we get this show on the road?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go all the way back to our very first decision, which was, part of the riddle was we have to go, like, what was it? Like, somewhere, involving death. I can't remember. Near a land reserved for woe. So our options were the graveyard or the leper camp. We went to the graveyard. So we're gonna go to the leper camp this time. We're gonna go talk to these, I'm sure, lovely folks being persecuted for a disease. So if we turn to page 8, you turn down the path to the shabby hut where the 2 leprosy victims live. You know the villagers stay far from the men for fear of catching their dreaded skin disease, and they will be very upset if they ever learn you visited this place. When you first glimpse the 2 swollen faces peering out the doorway, you panic, then force yourself to continue toward them. "Welcome, friend. Please come inside," says one of the men. "Thanks, but I'll stay outside," you reply. "I'm looking for the sorceress. The riddle says she lives near a place of woe, and I thought that might be your home. Since no one will have anything to do with us, it is indeed a woeful place," says the second man. "But I don't think it's one of your riddle. I don't think it's the one your riddle describes. We have never seen the sorceress. I think even she must be afraid of catching our disease." "Is leprosy that bad?" you ask. "No," says the first man. "But the way people treat us is horrible. In fact, you better hurry back. If anyone sees you here, they won't let you return home." And then I have to turn to page 17.
You better leave before we force you to eat our skin flakes, and people will think you're weird.
Like, I don't actually know that much about leprosy. Like, was it that easy to catch? Like, obviously, if you're working in really close quarters with people with it, like if you're a doctor or nurse treating them, it makes sense that it would be easier for you to catch. But otherwise, I don't know, is leprosy that easy to get?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably look it up.
Yeah.
I know you can get it from, I think, 9-band? Is it 9-band or 3-band?
9-band.
Armadillos.
Yes. That'd be funny if that was the only way you could get it. Let's see. Leprosy. Also known as Hansen's disease. I forgot about that. Leprosy is spread between people, although extensive contact is necessary. That's what I thought. Leprosy is a low pathogenicity, and 95% of people who contract M. leprae do not develop the disease. Spread is thought to occur through a cough or contact with fluid from the nose of the person infected by leprosy. So you're extremely unlikely to get leprosy, and then you're even more unlikely for it to actually develop into the full-blown disease.
Yeah, which is why you need to eat their skin flake.
Delicious. Actually, you want to know how they inoculated people from smallpox? That's what they did. They literally took their scabs and they would, originally they made tea with them. Later on, they would like inject you with it in some kind of a mixture with water. That's how they would inoculate people. And you want to know something? It saved the American Army during the Revolutionary War. Puppet History has a really good video about smallpox. It's very fascinating. And how vaccines are very important. And without them, we would still regularly be getting smallpox. Like, every 40 years, there would be a smallpox outbreak. And people would die.
Yep.
Alright. You say goodbye to the men and head toward home. As you reach the road to the village, you see several of your neighbors. Their face whiten and their eyes dart back and forth between you and the men with leprosy, who are still standing by their doorway. "Stay back," shouts one man. "Keep away." It's all right, you insist. I was just there for a minute. You can't return to the village. Go back to the lepers, shrieks another neighbor, eyeing you fearfully. As you start to follow them, the villagers gather stones. Leper! Leper! They scream, throwing rocks at you. These people fucking suck. Filled with horror, you race away from the villagers. You slowly realize you can't go home, but cling to the hope that their panic will subside in a few days, especially if you find a way to purify the well. Since you can't continue your search for the sorceress by investigating the graveyard, you decide to concentrate on finding a unicorn. You turn away from your village and walk along the road toward the forest, hoping to find a unicorn there. Before long, you hear a cart approaching behind you. The driver is Simon, a traveling peddler you've always liked. You wave to him and ask, "Where are you going?" Simon pulls the cart to a halt beside you. Everyone around here is too upset about the drought to take much interest in my trinkets. I'm going to try my luck in the city of Aris. At least people will be trading there. Want to join me? I won't mind some company for such a long trip. Aris, you've never been to that city before, although you would love to go. You suspect unicorns are more likely to live in the forest, but maybe you could meet someone in Aris who could tell you how to find a unicorn. If you decide to search for a unicorn in the forest, turn to page 13. If you climb in the cart headed for Aris, turn to page 14.
I'm just gonna let the villagers die. So let's go to Aris.
Yeah, fuck these guys. I don't blame you.
Now, why would I want to help them?
Yeah, they suck. You were literally at the leper camp for a minute and you did not go anywhere near them. Stupid. Okay. For 3 days while you ride through the forest on your way to Aris, you keep your eyes open for any sign of a unicorn. When you reach the outskirts of the city, you tell Simon about your search for a unicorn. It's a good thing you mentioned this, he says. I happen to know that the Duchess of Aris has a unicorn horn. She keeps it on hand in case someone tries to poison her wine. I've heard she dips the horn in her goblet before she takes a sip. Maybe the Duchess will lend you her unicorn horn. That's a good idea, you answer. But do you really think the Duchess would let me borrow it? It's hard to say, Simon admits. I've also heard there's a tapestry weaver in Aris who knows a lot about unicorn magic. He might be willing to help you. If you decide to ask the Duchess to lend you her unicorn horn, turn to page 23. If you ask Simon to take you to the weaver, turn to page 36.
Let's go to the Duchess first, but also, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So, you know how it purifies water?
Yeah.
And it supposedly purifies wine. Like, how viscous can this liquid be?
Yeah.
Like, could you purify, like, syrup?
What about like Jello?
Yeah, like what moisture content? Like, could you purify human? Like, we're mostly water.
Yeah. Could you purify someone's blood?
Yeah.
Huh. That's a very good question.
I bet they haven't even thought about viscosity.
Viscosity? Yeah.
Viscosity when they were writing this book. They're like, oh, you can purify water. Well, like, how much water? How viscous
Deborah.
can it be?
Yeah, Deborah, why didn't you think about the maple syrup? God. Alright, so page 23. Let's see if the Duchess will let me borrow her unicorn horn, you tell Simon. Besides, I'm curious. I've never met royalty. The clamor of jostling carts and crowds of people startle you as you ride through the dry and dusty streets of Aris. You are still marveling at the strange sights and sounds when the cart stops in front of the most enormous building you have ever seen. You count 4 stories. Simon helps you out of the cart. You march over to the guard standing solemnly by the front door and say, I'd like to see the Duchess. Then we gotta turn. He eyes your coarse clothing disdainfully and answers, the Duchess is away. When will she return? The guard does not even look at you when he replies, not today. Tomorrow? He glances at you with impatience. The Duchess alone decides when she will return. May I wait inside? No. The guard points to the stone bench several yards from the door. You may wait there. You turn to Simon, not knowing what to do. Shall I take you to the tapestry workshop? Maybe you'll have better luck there, he suggests. You would like to see more of the city, and who knows how long the Duchess will be gone. Yet it may be worth waiting to ask her about her unicorn horn. If you say goodbye to Simon and wait for the Duchess, turn to page 35. If you accept Simon's offer and climb back into the cart, turn to page 36.
I'm pretty stubborn. I made a plan already. I'm gonna stick with this plan.
Wait for the Duchess.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the Duchess, because, at worst, she says no. At best, I take the unicorn horn anyway.
Out of her grubby little hands. Okay, page 35. There we go. After Simon rides away, you spend a few hours exploring the neighborhood. At dusk, you return to the Duchess's house and curl up on the hard bench for the evening. The next morning, you awaken in a gloomy mood. You do not sleep well, and the rumbling of your stomach reminds you there is nothing for breakfast. Just then, an approaching procession of overflowing carts and grand carriages, drawn by well-groomed horses, catch your attention. As the entourage stops in front of the house, the guard by the door stands even straighter. You watch servants help an elegantly dressed woman step down from the most richly decorated of the carriages. Her jewel-studded bracelet glitters as she smooths her velvet robe before entering the house. Servants unload cart after cart, carrying heavy wooden chests, bolts of brocade cloth, and your heart skips a beat. A long, shimmering horn that is almost as tall as you are. It could only be a unicorn horn. You wait until the two guards are distracted in conversation, and then slip into the crowd of servants, and carry one of the many chests to the house. You try not to appear too curious, but the splendid furnishings almost take your breath away. Passing one chamber, you glimpse the Duchess inside, sipping wine. The unicorn horn rests on the table before her. You put down the chest and enter the room. Turn to page 44. Bowing deeply to the Duchess, you say, "Please excuse my boldness, but I've traveled a long way to ask you this favor." "Get out of here!" the Duchess snaps at you. "Please hear me out," you say. "I just wish to borrow your unicorn horn. My village needs your help." The Duchess looks at you coldly. "That is not my concern." "I promise I'll return it," you insist. She lowers her goblet to the table. "Please leave, or I shall call my guards to escort you." As you trudge through the corridors, you find yourself thinking about stealing the unicorn horn. Although you would do almost anything to save your village, you're not sure you could escape with something as large as the horn. And you hate to think what would happen if you were caught. But then you notice a door inscribed with a golden sun. What could be behind such a magnificent door? You wonder. Since the door is slightly ajar, you peek inside. The room is filled with shelf after shelf of neatly labeled flasks and urns. Squinting your eyes, you see the vessel containing strange powders, and wonder if any of the powders can purify water. Part of you wants to go inside to investigate, but another part of you thinks you should concentrate on getting the unicorn horn. If you open the door and go inside, turn to page 95. If you decide to steal the unicorn horn, turn to page 99.
You know I love stealing from the rich.
Well, you're stealing from the rich either way. Which one do you want to steal more?
I mean, let's go for the horn. I know it's going to go bad, probably. Unless we use the horn to purify the evil from her heart, aka kill her, because she's a monarch. And we go.
Okay. All right. You walk back to the chamber where you last saw the Duchess and duck behind one of the huge tapestries hanging in the hallway outside. You wait patiently until you hear the Duchess leave the room. When you peer into the chamber, you are relieved to see the unicorn horn still lying on the table. Without a moment's hesitation, you grab the heavy horn and run, smack into the Duchess herself. "Guards!" she screams. The next thing you know, a dozen guards are angrily pursuing you through the winding corridors of the Duchess's house. To your horror, you realize you can't remember the way out. Can you continue running with the horn until you reach a door, or should you try and hide from the guards? If you hide, turn to page 107. If you keep running, turn to page 111.
Where's this? I'm gonna fight him. thing. You now have a sharp object.
I know, you could just
and it's magical.
Them. Yeah. What if you stab them and it purifies them?
Yeah, what if you stab them and they purify, aka the word of my cult that they use for killing, members with evil in their heart. You purify them with the horn. And you do that for the village as well, because they're fucking awful. All of them are awful.
I know. You can't even get leprosy that easily. Okay, which one do you want to do? Do you want to hide, or do you want to keep running?
Let's hide.
Okay. Page 107. Okay, sorry, I was making sure I did that right. Still clutching the unicorn horn, you climb quickly into a big wooden trunk and lower the lid. Your heart is pounding so loudly you fear the guards will hear it. But the thunder of their footsteps doesn't slow as they race by you. When all is quiet, you try to find a comfortable position within your cramped hiding place. You can't tell how much time passes. To your hungry stomach, it feels like centuries. You slowly open the lid and peer out. The hallway is dark. You climb out and carry the unicorn horn to the nearest room. Very quietly, you open the shutters of the window to look outside. To your relief, it is not far from the ground, and there is no one in sight. You hold the horn tightly and leap from the window. A broad hedge cushions your landing. You hurry through the dark and silent streets of Arras, guided by the soft glow of the heavy unicorn horn. At the sound of approaching hoofbeats, you duck into a doorway. You try to shield the light of the horn with your body, but it is impossible to conceal. The rider spots you immediately. She comes closer for a better look, cornering you in the doorway. Turn to page 113. I won't ask you how you acquired it, but tell me, is that unicorn horn you're hiding? The rider leans down from her horse, straining to see. Who are you? You ask, noticing the silver stars embroidered on her coat. I'm a merchant of magic, purveyor of possibility, and I give anything to have a unicorn horn. Among my wares, I can make you the most attractive offer. I'm not interested. Behind your back, you grip the horn more tightly. Just listen. I have 3 splendid opals, each of which can grant you 1 wish. Imagine 3 of your dearest dreams can be transformed into reality. She pauses to dismount, knowing she has aroused your interest. The catch is, you can use the opals only once, and then you must share them with another person. I've already had my wishes. I'll trade you not 1, not 2, but 3 opals for that unicorn horn you're clutching. She reaches into a blue velvet pouch and displays 3 gleaming opals. They are the color of moonlight, but glow with the brilliance of the sun. You can't take your eyes away from them. How do I know these are really magic? The merchant sighs. Trust me, do these look like ordinary opals to you? You've never seen ordinary opals before, so you can't tell.
It's like, okay, keep your face straight. And what's going on in your head? Just like, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know.
Do I look like I know what an opal looks like? Come on, lady. You've never seen ordinary opals before, so you can't tell. The possibility of having 3 wishes come true is almost irresistible, yet you can't be certain the merchant is telling the truth. If you think it's too risky to trade, turn to page 76. If you decide to accept her word, turn to page 100.
God, it's just... okay. The idea of this girl being scammed by someone with just, some LED, rocks is amazing. Well, let's go with... Let's believe her. I feel like we're pretty dumb. We're pretty dumb.
Accept her word. Okay. We did try and wrestle a warlock. It's a deal. You offer the merchant the unicorn horn as she places the magic opals in your hand. The stones make your palm tingle. How do these work, you ask? Hold 1 opal at a time against your forehead and speak your wish, answers the merchant. You put 2 of the opals in your pocket and hold the 3rd against your forehead. Closing your eyes, you whisper, Please make the water in my village well perfectly pure. You find yourself envisioning the rank and murky water clearing. You see yourself sipping the fresh water. You feel confident your wish has been granted. When you open your eyes, you notice the merchant has mounted her horse. Good luck, she calls as she rides away with the unicorn horn. Taking the 2nd opal, you wish your parents were alive. In your mind's eye, you see a young couple entering the village. You know right away they are your parents. Even though you have no memory of their faces, you can't wait to get home. With growing excitement, you reach for the third opal. Pressing it against your forehead, you murmur, "Please make the villagers willing to let me come home." You breathe a sigh of relief, for suddenly you feel certain your neighbors will welcome you back. You carefully pocket the opals and begin the long journey home. The end.
She's so fucking nice. I'd be like, please give all of the villagers gonorrhea that they could ever or something.
Give them gonorrhea and then make them go through the treatment to get rid of gonorrhea, because apparently it's horrible. Like, it fucks your stomach up.
like I would be petty. Like, you or give all the villagers leprosy.
There you go. Or some other, like, mild skin condition.
give all of them stress-based eczema. So anytime they
give them hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Oh no,
that sucks. I've never had it, but a very good friend of mine did, and it wasn't just her; her kid also got it, and I guess it was just horrible. All right, let's do the other path where we decide that she's not telling the truth and she wants to scam us. Because why wouldn't we?
Also, like, we can't confirm that they're magical. Like, we
have no idea.
We did the equivalent of praying.
Yeah. All right. So we turn to page 76. "No, I can't make the trade," you tell the merchant. "The survival of my village depends on the unicorn horn." The merchant sighs. "I understand your reluctance, but believe me, you're making a mistake. Now tell me about that pendant you're wearing." "It belonged to an old woman in my village," you answer. "It's her good luck charm. I'll tell you what, if you give me the pendant, I'll trade you my horse." "Why would you give me a horse for a glass charm?" you ask warily. "If I'm not mistaken, that talisman has untapped magical possibilities. I'd like to have it for my collection," says the merchant. "My horse, on the other hand, is disappointingly ordinary. Of course, I was led to believe it was an enchanted beast, but that's a whole other story." You hate to give away Marie Claire's good luck charm, but you realize you can't walk all the way home, lugging a heavy unicorn horn. "It's a deal," you announce, removing the pendant. You hand it to the merchant, who pockets it and removes her wares from her horse. Awkwardly clutching the unicorn horn, you climb onto the horse's saddle. Before you can even say goodbye, you find yourself riding off the ground, above the rooftops and into the sky. "Winking wizards!" shrieks the merchant. "That horse is magical!"
Oh,
that's so funny.
That horse is magical, and then the horse goes around, does the horse equivalent of flicking off the the big, like, "Fuck you, you sucked."
Just does like a huge fart. "Whoa," you cry, tugging on the reins. The horse ignores you. With fear and fascination, you watch as the world grows smaller and smaller, as the horse soars higher towards the stars. You have to gasp for air. Just as you begin to faint, the unicorn horn tumbles from your hand. Second later, you too are plunging towards Earth with deathly speed. The end. Damn!
Imagine if we had that, the pendant.
Yeah.
Maybe the horse would have flew, but, like, we would have also been able to keep a hold of the... Oh, what if it was that, like the unicorn, the mermaid one, where you can breathe, but it was, like, when there's no oxygen.
Oh! That's a good point. It could have been us. But alas, we gave it away. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way back to when we're running around with the unicorn horn, trying to escape the guards. And so our options were to either hide or keep running, and we chose to hide, which ended up being a pretty good idea because we didn't get caught. So if we decide to keep running, we turn to page 111. Determined to find a way out, you race even faster. You notice how slippery the rugs are until it's too late. As you stumble, the unicorn horn falls from your hand, crashing into the hard marble floor. It shatters into hundreds of pieces. You sink to your knees in despair. Just as you hear the guards approaching, you quickly snatch a piece of the broken horn and hide it in your pocket. Next thing you know, the guards are hustling you down the stairs to a small underground dungeon. The iron door clang shut, and you hear a key clicking in the lock. The dungeon is empty, save for a pile of dusty straw. Just above your head, a barred window offers a view of the ground outside the house. After several hours, a hunchbacked old servant unlocks the door and offers you a hunk of bread. You eagerly accept it and thank him. "I'll bring you more in the morning," he tells you. "It's not much, but I can sneak anything else past the cook." "You mean you're not supposed to be feeding me?" "Of course not," he exclaims. "The Duchess doesn't waste food on prisoners, but I can't stand the thought of someone starving to death right under my nose." As you chew the bread, a plan takes shape in your mind. If you offer to share a piece of the unicorn horn in your pocket with the old man, will he let you escape? You are desperate to leave the dungeon, but are not sure how much you can trust him. If you think it's too soon to take any chances, turn to page 88. If you try to bribe the man, turn to page 116.
Okay, so we're about the same age. So, did you read the series of unfortunate events?
Yes.
Ever since I read, I want to say the third or fourth one, where they basically use the bread as a sponge to wet the mortar around the outside wall.
Oh,
brick.
yeah!
Every single time there's a hard piece of bread and a prison, I'm just yeah, that's what you need to do. That's how you escape from prison.
Yeah.
I read it from this one nonfiction book.
Lemony Snicket wouldn't lie to me.
I mean, we could try to bribe. Is it bribing? Yes, I don't know. Yeah, let's what do we have to lose?
Yeah, okay, so we try to bribe him. Gotta turn to page 116. You remove the piece of unicorn horn from your pocket and show it to the servant. "If you let me out of this dungeon, I will give you half of this piece of unicorn horn." The servant's eyes widen. "How did you get that?" "You must have heard the commotion as the guards were chasing me. I tripped and dropped the horn, but before the guards grabbed me, I hid one of the broken pieces in my pocket." The servant snatches the horn from your hand. "I thought you were innocent. I can't believe someone so young would really steal the unicorn horn." He leaves you in your cell and locks the door, then spits on the ground. "You deserve death." With each passing day, your hunger and thirst become more overwhelming. You wait in your miserable cell, hoping a guard will bring you food and water, but no one comes. Your only visitor is death. The end.
Okay, bootlicker, fuck you.
Yeah, what a dick.
What about working class solidarity, you fucking asshole?
Yeah. Fuck. Alright, so if we decide to... What was our option? If we decide it's too soon to take a chance, got to turn to page 88.
Yeah, Thanks. It is too soon to take a chance because he's a fucking bootlicker.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, I can't stand for you to starve, but oh no, he's a white liberal. That's it. That's it. Just I can't stand to see people starve, but I won't do a one step further from the bare minimum.
Oh yeah. God forbid. Ugh. Okay. "Thanks again," you tell the servant as he locks the iron door. Then you curl up in the straw for a nap. When you awake, narrow stripes of moonlight fill the dungeon. You remember the piece of unicorn horn in your pocket and take it out for a closer look. It's too dark to see well, but you place the chunk of horn on the ledge of the window. You marvel at its pearly luster, trying to forget your hopeless situation. The muffled sound of approaching hoofbeats distract you. Through the window you glimpse silvery hooves, much too delicate to belong to a horse. You hold your breath, wondering if it could be a unicorn. As the shimmering horn dips between the bars of the window, for a moment the horn rests on the piece of unicorn horn on the ledge, then touches each of the bars, instantly transforming them into fragile rods of glass. Turn to page 97. Without thinking, you reach up and effortlessly break the glass bars. Only when you do wonder if you can hoist your body up to escape. As if in answer to your question, a long white horn reappears through the window. It seems to beckon you, so you grab hold of it and find yourself being pulled up out of the dungeon. You stumble to your feet and embrace the unicorn that saved you. You are surprised to hear the gentle creature murmur, Climb on my back. I'll carry you home. You reach back through the window for the chunk of horn. Then swing your leg over the slim back of the unicorn. The unicorn glides through the night towards your village. The end. That's cool.
I mean, I'm glad that the unicorn is into prison abolition. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one felt anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I was expecting more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good ending at least.
Yeah.
Alright, so we need to backtrack because we already took the other option that led us to this one. So we gotta go all the way back to when we're deciding if we want to steal the unicorn horn or if we want to open the door to that room that has like an apothecary in it. And we decided to steal the horn. So if we decide instead to go to the apothecary, I gotta turn to page 95. Okay. Inside the room, you find an old man heating a piece of wire over a candle. When he sees you, he nods pleasantly. You introduce yourself, and he tells you his name is Marcel. What are you doing? You ask. Marcel sighs. Like all alchemists, I'm supposed to be finding a new way to create gold. Trouble is, I seem to be creating everything but gold. He shows you a silvery spoon. This makes ordinary soup taste like nectar. And look at this ring. If you wear it on your finger, it will keep your whole hand warm. Why, I've invented hundreds of new metals, but the Duchess only wants gold. Have you ever created a metal that can purify water? You explain the problem facing your village. Can't say I have, Marcel replies. But it shouldn't be hard to make water-cleansing metal. Let's work on that idea right away. Go back to page 92.
He gives you one of those, like, water purification tablets you can buy at, like, a camping store.
He teaches you how to do, what's it called? Steam-based,
Distilling?
Yeah. He teaches you how to vapor distill water. Unknown to the Duchess, you become Marcel's apprentice, while he tries to invent a metal to clean your well. You learn to create horseshoes that silence hoofbeats, and scissors that sing. Marcel says you show great promise as an alchemist. By October, Marcel still hasn't invented a metal to purify water. Each night you tell yourself you'll go home the next day. But the next day always brings such intriguing problems and discoveries that you can't bear to leave. Besides, you dread finding what has become of your village. You end up spending the rest of your life as an alchemist. Like Marcel, you invent dozens of astonishing metals, but you never find a way to purify water, and you never succeed in creating gold. The end. Dang.
Well, I mean, I guess that was an ending, I guess.
I want to become an alchemist.
You're probably doing better, though. Like,
yeah.
You're doing better. Like, there's no way that you're not.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to go back again. So, this is actually an option that we had before, which is, instead of waiting for the Duchess, we could have gone to the guy that makes tapestries. And then we were offered the option again, so we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
So, riding through Arras, you enjoy watching the city. People bustle about in their fancy but dust-covered clothing. Finally, the cart stops at the tapestry workshop. Simon leads you into a large, bright room filled with looms, each holding a portion of a woven scene. These tapestries will hang in the castles of kings, he tells you. Although you know how to weave ordinary cloth, you have never seen a tapestry before. The two of you walk to one loom, on which a few weavers are creating huge tapestries showing a knight. I'm looking for a weaver named Emile. Do you know of him? Asks Simon. One of the men smiles and points to a chest. You found him! To page 43. Simon
he's dead. And stuffed in that trunk.
He's been dead for 40 years! And I'm his ghost! And yet capitalism makes me toil still in death. Simon nudges...
If corporations ever find out how to do necromancy, that's what they would do.
They would 100% do it. 100%.
Like, what about a living wage? I don't care. I'm gonna bring you back to life after you die anyway.
Simon nudges you forward. I want to find a unicorn, you explain. The water in my village well is tainted, and we might not last the summer unless it is purified. I'm told the touch of a unicorn's horn will clean it. Well, you come to the right place, says Emil. You say goodbye to Simon as Emil takes you aside. I know 2 solutions to your problem, but neither is easy, Emil tells you. I've heard one may obtain the unicorn by performing a ritual called Circle of Wishes. However, it is very difficult and may cause you great anguish. The other way to clean your well is to weave a magic tapestry, and I could show you how to do that. It will take a full month to make. Once you complete it, you simply float the tapestry in the well, and the well will become pure. The Circle of Wishes sounds frightening, but time is short. Can your village survive during the month required to weave the magic tapestry? If you decide to weave the magic tapestry, turn to page 40. If you say, please tell me how to perform the Circle of Magic Wishes, turn to page 48.
Yeah, let's do the quick one first.
Oh god,
the quicker one first.
Let me see which one is the quick one.
Circle of Wishes.
I think it's... Yeah, okay, Circle of Wishes. Alright, so page 48. The Circle of Wishes must take place at night, says Emil. Since you will meet all the strength you possess, you should rest until the sun sets. That evening, Emil leads you away from the city, through the forest, to a moonlit clearing. Countless small stones mark a wide circle. Step inside, says Emil. A shiver runs up your spine as you stand in the center. Think of every wish in your heart and cast it out, instructs Emil. Cast it out? Yes, speak it aloud and convince yourself that you no longer desire that wish. You must continue until the last wish is gone from your heart. That's not so hard, you exclaim with relief. Emil does not reply. You think for a moment and say, I no longer wish for a horse of my own. As soon as the words leave your lips, one of the stones of the circle glows and sparkles like a diamond. I no longer wish to grow tall. A second stone begins to shimmer, and you realize that growing tall no longer matters to you. As hours pass, you cast out hundreds of wishes, but the circle is still not fully illuminated. Come on, urges Emil. Do the hard ones. Turn to page 54. You take a deep breath. I don't care if our crops fail. I no longer wish for a healthy life. I no longer wish my parents were alive. You name more and more wishes until only 2 stones remain. You are so exhausted. You have trouble thinking of any other wishes. Okay, you say, sighing. I no longer wish to save my village from the drought. Good, says Emil. Just one more. That was it, you insist. I have no more desires. Yes, there is one more. No, your life.
I no longer wish to have bitches.
I no longer wish to be a pussy magnet. Your life, he reminds you, casts away your desire to live. Although you feel curiously empty, your wish to continue living is strong. You're not sure you can pluck it from your heart. If you resolve to cast out your will to live, turn to page 66. If you refuse to abandon this last desire, turn to page 77.
I mean, sure, let's go into the depressive spiral now. Let's not wish to live, I guess.
Alright. Summoning all your strength, you whisper, I cast away my wish to live. The last stone brightens. Now step outside the circle, says Emil. As you cross the glowing boundary, you are transformed into a unicorn. You gaze at your silvery hooves in astonishment, and then toss your head to feel the weight of your long horn. Without wasting any time, you set out for your village. The next day you arrive home at twilight. Most of the villagers are in their houses. You trot over to Marie Claire's cottage and poke your head through her doorway. She looks up from her sewing and gasps, What in the world? It's me. I'm back, you say. Marie Claire touches the good luck pendant still hanging from your neck. It is you. What happened? You were gone to find a unicorn, not turn into one. I'll tell you about it later. First, let's go to the well and see if this horn of mine really does work. The end. You become a motherfucking unicorn!
Also, I think effectively cut your life in half as well. How long do unicorns live? Do they live as long as horses?
They're magical creatures, so they can live forever.
Oh, I would hate to live forever as a horse.
If they're anything like the unicorns in The Last Unicorn, they can live forever.
I would find a way to not live forever.
But they also, like, they don't feel like the weight of mortality or anything like that. Like the way in The Last Unicorn that the unicorn describes when she's turned human, all the terrible things she suddenly feels, unicorns just don't feel that.
Oh, so they can't have depression. That's great.
No, they can't be depressed.
Oh, fuck. What if I do want to be a unicorn? Shit.
like their body never falls apart because it never ages. They never worry about anything. They, like, all other unicorns are also immortal, so they don't have to worry about losing them. Like, all this stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's why there's The Last Unicorn, because I would want to also kill all of them.
No, it's because there's some asshole who wanted them all for himself because he's a weirdo and wants unicorns.
Because he thinks they're attractive and he's a yandere.
Alright, so if we do the other option, if we say we can't give up our will to live. I won't do it. I can't give up my will to live, you say. As you begin to step outside the glowing circle, Emil shouts, "Stop! You can't leave the circle now!" It is too late. When your foot touches the ground, you abruptly disappear in a flash of lightning. Emil claps his hands over his ears to muffle the deafening roar of thunder. Rain rushes from the night sky, drenching the forest, the city, and all of Flanders, including your parched village. People everywhere rush outside with buckets and bowls. They turn their faces up to the long-awaited rain. You never feel a single drop, however, for you have vanished without a trace. The end. That's a wild ending.
Yeah.
God damn. Alright, so, we have to go back if we decide to make the magic tapestry, if you want to go that way.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. We don't have much left. Okay. Emil gives you a small loom and a basket of white yarn. Much of the magic of the tapestry comes from the dyes you will use to color the yarn. Before you begin to weave, I will give you instructions, but you must gather the special plants for the dyes yourself. You probably know most of the plants, but moonroot is quite extraordinary. He hands you a drawing of a strange herb. Moonroot? I've never heard of it. No one in my village uses it to dye clothing. Emil laughs. Moonroot is so rare that not even the king's robes are dyed with it. You see, the plant only blossoms under a full moon. Luckily for you, tonight is the full moon. That night, you should make your way through the forest outside the city to a certain grove of birch trees, where Emil suggested you look for the moonroot. You are delighted to see the peculiar, silvery plants growing there. Just as you begin to gather them, a grotesque griffin descends noisily through the trees, heading straight for the precious moonroot. By the way, there is an illustration of moonroot. It pretty much looks like a mandrake root, like a little baby. And then there's some sprouts coming off with berries. So, our options are, if you hide and watch to see what the griffin is up to, turn to page 71. If you step forward to fight off the griffin, turn to page 101. This girl is just waiting to fight everything and anything.
God, she'd probably get fucking, like, eaten by the griffin.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go for the moonroot first.
Okay. So, turn to page 71. You quickly jump into some dense raspberry bushes. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, so we can hide or we can fight the griffin. Those are our only choices.
Oh, sorry, I didn't, apparently. Okay, let's fight.
Okay, so that is 101. You wave your arms frantically to scare off the griffin. Not at all bothered by your efforts, the beast sinks its claws into one of your arms. You try to ignore the pain, and with your uninjured arm, you struggle bravely to free yourself from the creature's grip. With the last of your strength, you try to fling off the griffin. You lose your balance and topple into the moonroot. The griffin's gleaming claws are inches from your face when you close your eyes. The end. Damn.
Oh, I was hoping that they would, like, describe a little bit more.
Yeah. Nope, it's just that one
Like
paragraph.
maybe the griffin, like, delicately, like, plucking the eyeballs out of your face? Or something, you know.
Alright, so if we try and hide, you jump quickly into some dense raspberry bushes where you can safely watch the griffin. The beast sniffs the plants and begins gobbling them with alarming speed. You have to stop the griffin from devouring all the moon root, or you'll have to wait another month for it to blossom again. As you struggle to decide what to do, you nervously pop raspberries into your mouth. Their sweet taste gives you an idea. You fill your hands with the ripest berries. Quietly placing them on the ground, you form a trail from the bushes to the birch grove. The griffin is so busy consuming moonroot that it doesn't notice your approach. Taking careful aim, you toss a raspberry towards the griffin. The beast eats it eagerly and looks around for another. You toss a second berry, and the griffin snatches it up. You continue to throw berries, making sure each one lands just a bit closer than the last to your trail. Just as the griffin discovers the trail of raspberries, you duck behind a shrub. Distracted by the berries, the beast moves away from the moonroot, and you breathlessly gather the remaining plants. Turn to page 89. The next morning, Emil shows you how to combine the moonroot with other plants to create magical dyes. You soak the yarn in the dye, stirring occasionally, just as you would at home. At first, the resulting colors seem disappointingly ordinary, but when you examine them more closely, you discover the flash of rubies in the red yarn, and the scent of pine in the green yarn. And when you hold the blue yarn beside your ear, you hear the sound of rushing water. Since you already know how to weave plain cloth, you have no trouble understanding Emil's instructions for making the tapestry. When you finally start to weave, it is even easier than you expected. The yarn seems to lead your fingers, creating a design of its own. While Emil weaves only an inch of regular tapestry each day, you weave almost a foot of your magical tapestry. Turn to page 94. As the days pass, you see the tapestry shows a unicorn dancing in the forest by the light of the moon. Each morning, when you resume weaving, you discover the moon is a slightly different phase, and the unicorn is another position. Emil assures you that the scenes and the magical tapestries are always changing. Finally, when you have finished the weaving, you cut the tapestry off the loom and roll it up. You are eager to see if the tapestry really does purify water, but you are also sad to be leaving Emil. You've grown to like him and the other weavers. When you say goodbye to Emil, he replies, "I wish you weren't leaving. I've learned so much, and I enjoy having you around. Why don't you send the tapestry home with a messenger, and stay on here as a weaver?" If you accept Emil's offer, turn to page 11. If you decide to go back to the village, turn to page 65.
Those villagers are assholes.
Page 11.
Page 11.
Alright. Emil smiles and slaps her back. "I'll teach you to be such a fine weaver that even the queen will buy your tapestries. Come on, let's find the messenger to carry the magic tapestry to your village." Before long, you are skillful enough to work on even the most elaborate tapestries. The days fly by quickly, and at night, when you walk through the busy streets of Arras with your new friends from the studio, you often find yourself thinking about how happy you are. But sometimes, just before you fall asleep, you think about your village. Since no one there can read or write, you aren't surprised that you haven't heard from anyone. But you can't help wondering if the magic tapestry really worked. And we gotta turn to page 93. One day, towards the end of winter, the peddler Simon stops by the studio with good news. "That tapestry of yours saved the village all right," he tells you. "Everyone is fine, although they miss you." "So, they still think about me?" you say, secretly pleased. "They think about you every day," Simon assures you. "They're so grateful for you saving them. They've changed the name of their village. They've named it after you." The end.
So not going back.
I know, fuck those people. If we did decide to go back because this is our last ending, "I'll miss you too," you tell Emil, "but I have to go home. I'll always be grateful for your help." Emil gives you some money to pay somebody to drive you and the magical tapestry home. You ask the driver to let you off just outside your village, where you patiently wait until everyone is asleep. You hope your neighbors will put aside their fears of leprosy when they discover you purified the water. Quietly, you drag the heavy tapestry to the well. When you unroll it, you see it shows a unicorn, dipping its horn into your well. You shove the tapestry in and listen for a splash as it hits the water. When you lower a bucket and pull up some water, it smells fresh and tastes even better than ever. At dawn, you run up to Marie Claire's house and wake her up. She hugs you joyfully as you cry, "Come outside! Taste the water! I've made it pure!" She drinks the fresh water, and you tell her about the magic tapestry. "But where is it?" asks Marie Claire, peering into the well. You gaze into the water. All you see is the pale reflection of the moon in the early morning sky. The end.
Oh, so we did the full book. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we missed a couple on the other tree, but that's also, like, looking at the back of this book, it's a pretty big tree, to be honest. We missed a lot of really bad endings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was it. We did it. We saved our village, even though they weren't really deserving. That's fine. And there were a couple endings where we end up finding a craft that we really love and dedicated ourselves to.
Yeah, multiple times. So apparently our goal was to not be oppressed by the
yeah, to become
village.
an artisan unoppressed by both the our position as a peasant and by the general capitalistic society of the city we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the Weaver ending the best, where you just become a weaver and you make friends and all that.
Yeah.
That was a good ending.
Yeah, this one's just generally good. I hope the next 3 hold up.
Me too. I think at least the next one will hold up. And they're all written by the same author, so I think we should be fine. But yeah, that was good. That was fun. Do you have anything else to say about the magic of the unicorn?
I mean, besides, like, one ending, we didn't have a lot of magic with a unicorn.
No, we didn't. We did it. We did have one ending where we did find a unicorn. It showed up, actually, and helped us.
Yeah.
And there was one ending where we turned into a unicorn, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. My hatred of horses, like, really makes the whole, turning into a unicorn, like, more of a stain on my soul.
At least they kind of describe unicorns as being, like, slightly unhorse-like.
Yeah. Can I, like, I was trying to make a joke. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. We can end it here. Because also I have to wrangle my child.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was Magic of the Unicorn. This was really fun. Again, by Deborah Lerme Goodman. And there are 3 other books in this series. We will read them. But yeah, this has been Turn to Your Doom, and remember, maybe one day you will also discover the artisan job that will fulfill you. Or maybe you'll turn into a unicorn. I don't know. Okay, bye!
Bye!